Okay, all right. Well, welcome back to the summit. I'm pleased to welcome Jennifer Allan Hagedorn.
Thank you. You got it right. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm happy that you're here, Jennifer. You and I have known each other for a few years, and a lot of you know Jennifer from her book and multiple books, Sell with Soul, and we've had her on my podcast a couple times. So I always love talking with Jennifer.
We always have fun, and I appreciate you also getting the name of my book right. The last time I did one of these, the person called it Sell Your Soul. I went, oh, that's not quite it. That's not my message, trust me, is that you should be out there selling your soul to real estate. So sell with soul. Thank you.
Oh, that's funny. That's so funny. And you've written multiple books. I mean, have you written a new book since you and I talked last on the podcast?
Well, my last book was released this spring, and I think we actually talked right after that. So, yeah, it was The Exceptional Real Estate Agent, and we did a little podcast after that. So, nope, nothing since then.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a joke, so I thought you've written one since then.
Oops, sorry.
No problem. No problem. That's pretty. No, because you're a prolific writer, and you're adding a lot to the real estate community, and I love your philosophy. So I'm so happy you're here, at the summit to kind of share your 3 tips, your 3 ideas. So how did you come up with your 3 tips to share with the audience today?
Well, it's kind of funny because when you first approached me with the idea of the Real Estate Mastery Summit, you said, hey, I'm gonna get a lot of great speakers on here, and they're going to share 3 tips for real estate success. And hey, Jennifer, come up with 3 tips. I said, oh, okay, I can do that. I can do that. So I started thinking about it, and one of the things I realized is that when most real estate agents are looking for tips for success, strategies for success, almost always they're looking for ways to bring in clients, right? I mean, prospecting tips, lead generation, as a real estate trainer, as a former real estate agent, now a trainer and a writer and occasionally a speaker, that's by far the biggest question I get is, hey, Jennifer, I need some help. Okay, how can I help you? Hey, I need some business. I need some clients. I need some more listings. I need, how do I find me some buyers and sellers? How do I, Jennifer, I need some business. Where do I get me some of that? And so while there are certainly other things involved in a successful real estate career, I figured that for today's purposes, that's what we would focus on is 3 tips for success, 3 strategies, 3 secrets maybe even on being a successful real estate agent. So I said, well, I know a little bit about that. So I sat down and I made a list of some of the things that I did during my real estate career that made me somewhat successful. And I came up with a long list, at least a page full. And I thought, okay, Maria wants 3. So I went through and I said, well, which of these 3 would be the most helpful, the most interesting, the most entertaining? And I really couldn't come up with 3, but what I realized as I was looking through my list was that almost all of them fell under this big picture of kind of a very simple big picture of an overall philosophy of how to have a successful real estate career. And I'm going to share that with you here in just a second. But what was fortunate for our purposes today is that this big picture is composed of 3 elements. So at least I fell into the 3 strategies that way. I've got one big picture secret that's composed of 3 elements. The thing about real estate is that both of us on both sides of the table, we who are trainers and writers as well as real estate agents, we try to make things very complicated. And and when it comes to finding clients, when finding business, bringing in business, we like to make it complicated. So we go out and we look for programs and systems and, gizmos and gadgets and technology and such because we think, okay, that's going to make me successful. And, the cynical side of me sometimes thinks, maybe that's all of us over here on the training side who are producing these programs and gizmos and gadgets and systems and such because we can package them up and make them very complicated and therefore very expensive. And so real estate agents will buy them and pay us lots of money. And, I don't know if that's true or not, but I do think that a successful real estate career does not have to be complicated, and it certainly does not have to be expensive. And when these gizmos and gadgets and programs and such, they in themselves are not going to make a real estate agent successful. they're tools that we can and should use, but they in themselves are not the magic bullet. So you ready to hear my secret, my big picture secret of real estate success?
Yes, yeah, I'm sitting on the edge of my seat. I want to
Okay.
hear it, and I agree with everything you're saying so far because people are always, looking for that silver bullet, and so I'm really excited to hear your thoughts.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to read to you a few passages out of my sixth book, which is called It Really Is That Simple.
Okay.
Not going to read a lot, but just a few passages because I think it said it better in the book than I would say it out loud here. So, you ready?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, here goes. The more people who know you, like you, and trust you, the more successful your business will be. That's it. The more people who know you, like you, and trust you, the more successful you will be. So there you go. Simple, huh? Well, sort of. It may sound simple when you say it out loud and find yourself nodding in agreement. But interestingly, no, it doesn't seem all that simple to trust that this simple truth actually is the secret to creating and maintaining a successful real estate business. And to be fair, there is more involved in the three pieces of this sweet little ditty than simply saying it out loud, agreeing with it in principle, and then going on about your business as usual. Finding people to know you, getting them to like you, and then inspiring them to trust you so that they know and care about what you do for a living is not simply a matter of going out into the world promoting your business the way you've always done it, especially if your previous self-promotion efforts were at all influenced by all those marketing and sales training companies out there trying to persuade you to buy their systems or programs or gizmos or gadgets or tools or toys to help you build relationships to grow your business.
That's good. I'm here.
Okay, I got a little error message on my screen, so you can still hear me?
Yep, I can still hear you. You're good.
Okay, let me make that error message go away then. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, no, systems and programs do not build relationships. They can help in the relationship building process, but they don't do it. Anyway, back to knowing, liking, and trusting. Okay, so, all right, so what
Well,
I'd like to start, go ahead.
no, I think that's good. I agree with everything you say, and we're the same wavelength.
Yeah, yeah.
So, so I guess the question is that so how many people are we talking about? How can we scale this? How can we get so many people to like us, trust us, and
Know us, like us, and trust us. Well, let
yeah,
me first define knowing, liking, and trusting. And then we'll get to that magic number, whatever that magic secret number is going to be. So let's start with a definition of know. What does it mean if somebody knows you? Well, it's pretty simple, like most of this is going to be. If somebody knows you, it means that they know who you are on a personal level, somewhat personal level. It doesn't mean that you're best friends. It doesn't mean that they would invite you to their wedding. It just means that they know who you are. They would recognize your face or your name, but because they know you personally, not because of your personal marketing. Okay, so that's all knowing means. Okay, doesn't necessarily mean that they like you, but they do know who you are. So then we move to the next element, and that is the like factor. What does it mean if somebody likes you? Well, it's kind of funny. It's actually more of an absence of disliking. It doesn't mean, again, that they love you. It doesn't mean that they even, think of you very often. It just means that when they do think of you, hear from you, or maybe even see you, they have a generally positive reaction. Okay, again, more of an absence of disliking than of liking. Of course, we would prefer that they, have a strong positive reaction, but it's not necessary for someone to know you and like you for them to just think, wow, that's the coolest person on the planet. They're my best buddy. Okay. Now we get to the trust element. And this is really critical. What does it mean if somebody trusts you? Well, it doesn't mean, what we're not talking about here is morality or ethics. It's not whether or not somebody thinks you have good morals or good ethics. Because frankly, if they don't think you're an ethical person, they probably don't like you much. All right. What we're talking about here is professional trust, not personal trust. So when we say that the more people who know you, like you, and trust you, this third element is referring to, does somebody believe that you will take good care of them or their friends if they hire you as a real estate agent or if they refer you to others? Professional trust, okay, not personal trust. Okay, so know, like, and trust. Now, to answer that burning question, how many people out there should or need to know you, like you, and trust you in order for you to be able to run a successful real estate business? Well, to me, the magic number is 200. Now, I don't have anything scientific to back that up, but just in my experience and just kind of common sense, if there are 200 people out there in your local community, somewhat local, who know you, like you, and trust you professionally, I really think that's probably enough for you to run a successful real estate business based heavily on those people who know you, like you, and trust you. So 200, let's shoot for that. So those in the audience, do a quick little, calculation. How many people out there in your world, your local community, do you think know you, like you, and trust you? Okay? So 200.
Yeah, and before we move on, I just want to make a quick point. I like what you said about absence of dislike, and when you like somebody, because as you know, with realtors, a lot of real estate agents can be very irritating. They can be very pushy.
We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, so I think that's a great point that you make there.
Yeah, no, and the reason I make that point is that I think a lot of people, when they think about a sphere of influence-based business model, or what some people would call a know, like, and trust business model, they think they need to have 100, 200, 300 best friends. And that's not true. In fact, we're not going to talk about it today, but in my real estate business, the vast majority of my business came from people who were not friends, that they were people who knew me, liked me enough, and trusted me. So I think that's a kind of a misperception people have of this sort of real estate style, is that, oh, I've got to have 200 friends. I don't have 200 friends. No, you don't have to have 200 friends. So just as long as somebody thinks reasonably positive of you, which I'm going to give you some tips here in a minute on how to make that happen, you're good. You're good to go. Okay? So first question then, all righty, where do I go and find myself? 200 people to know me. We're going to start there. Okay. Well, anything that you do, any traditional real estate prospecting that you do, should result in people knowing you. Okay, so whether that's open houses, or you take floor time, or you walk your neighborhood, or you, call for sale by owners or expired listings, or do general networking, any real estate prospecting that you already do or would consider doing, hopefully that's helping you to find people to know you, because I guess it seems obvious, if somebody is going to consider hiring you to be their real estate agent, then they're going to know you, right? Okay, so hold that thought. Now, of course, a lot of times when we're talking about finding more people to know you, we're thinking more of a social, more in your personal life, and that's certainly a biggie. So anything that you do out there in the world that puts you in contact with other human beings, okay, that's also great ways to find people to know you. Okay, I know that sounds kind of obvious, but so any of your personal socializing, whether that's going out with friends or attending social events or local events, going to the high school football game, volunteering at the animal shelter like I do a lot. Anything that you do that's out there in the world, interacting with other human beings, is going to give you lots of opportunities to find people to know you. So think about this. Let's say when you just did your little mental calculation as to how many people currently know you, like you, and trust you. Let's say you didn't come up with 200. Okay? Think about this. What if every single day, okay, let's say not every single day, let's say 5 days a week, 52 weeks out of the year, you find one new person to know you, either through your business, through your personal life, combination, but 5 days out of the week, you find one new person to know you. 52 weeks out of the year, do the math on that. How many new people know you by the end of the year? 250, 260, something like that. And that doesn't include all of the people that they know that they could introduce you to. So really, finding more people to know is not difficult. Okay. Again, simple, not complicated. Get out there, be out in the world, find one new person to know you every day. Okay?
And before you go on, I think that's a great point. And the reason I want to kind of interject here is that so much of the traditional training, and you and I know this, one of the things I always hear is call 30 people a day.
Right, right.
And it's like, that's impossible sometimes, because how can you come up with a list of 30 people a day, you know,
Right. And
5 days
I
a
can
week?
promise you those 30 people aren't really sitting there waiting for you to call them. They really aren't. So, and you don't need to. Real estate is not a volume business. And you don't have to make contact with 30 people every single day to be successful. Literally, I mean, we just did that math. One a day after a year, that's 250 people, and plus everyone that they know. Okay? Simple. All right.
Yeah.
So what's next? Like. Okay. So now we have all of these people who like us, or no, I'm sorry, all these people who know us. Maybe they like us, maybe they don't. All right. What do we do to inspire them to like us? Okay. Now again, remember, like just means they think you're in a generally positive manner when they think about you. Now, obviously, the more positive that is, the more supportive they're going to be of your real estate business. So, what are some things that you can do to inspire these people who now know you to think generally positive thoughts about you? Well, one of the first things, I'm gonna go out of order here and reference what you just said, is when you're out there in the world being a real estate agent, don't be what I call icky. Okay? Don't be cheesy. Don't be pushy. Don't be desperate. Don't be out there like a predator. Okay? When you're out there in the world being a real estate agent, nobody wants, I mean, nobody likes pushy, cheesy people. Okay? So, and that kind of, it leads into another one of my ways to be liked, just be yourself. So when you're out there in the world interacting with people as a real estate agent or as a real normal person, be yourself, be authentic. Now, if you're a cat lover versus a dog lover, okay, go out there in the world and be a cat lover. Don't feel like you have to be a dog, cat, horse, and chicken lover. Be who you are. I know that's kind of silly and that's kind of simplistic, but you're going to attract a lot more people to you and inspire them to like you a lot more if you are who you are. It's those of you out there who are familiar with me, you know that I've done a lot of talking on the introvert, being an introvert versus an extrovert. I am an introvert, okay? If I go out there in the world trying to be an extrovert, people aren't going to like me much because they're going to sense there's something phony about me. Now, when I go out there in the world being an introvert, I may not attract as many people as I would if I were an extrovert, but I'm not an extrovert. So, I go out there, I be me, I'm going to attract the people to me, and they're going to like the real me, not the fake me. Okay. Now, here's kind of a more concrete tip on how to ensure that all of these people out there who know you also like you. And that is what I call strive to impress one person a day. Okay, what do I mean by impress? Well, what I mean is every single day, do something for someone else that you don't have to do. Now, that someone else can be a friend, it can be a family member, it can certainly be a client. That would be awesome. It can be a stranger. Okay? Any other human being in the world, every day, look for somebody to go above and beyond for them what you really have to do. So what are some examples? Well, for clients, it's easy. All right. And I mean, shoot, if you impress a client today, you're golden. So what I recommend that agents do is every morning when they sit down at their computer, they look at their client files, they go through them and say, is there anything this client needs from me today? Maybe they don't need something. Is there anything I could do for this client today that they would appreciate? That they wouldn't notice if I didn't do it, but they sure would notice if I do it. You could probably do that every day for your real estate career and get your impressing duties done. Okay, but in your personal life, there are also plenty of opportunities to impress somebody. For example, if you have a friend who's going on vacation, maybe you could offer to water her plants while she's gone, or take her to the airport, or pick her up from the airport. Okay, she might not even take you up on it, but the offer is going to be perceived as very impressive, very positive. If you have, let's say that same friend goes on vacation and you water her plants while she's gone, but then she gets back, you call her up a few days later and say, hey, how was it? Did you have a good time? You got some pictures? Come on. I mean, just following up with people, showing interest in their lives. That's more than most people do. So that's going to be impressive. When you're at the grocery store, if you're tall and somebody's not tall and they're trying to get something on the upper shelf and you can get it down for them, that simple little act of impressing. Get into the habit of every single day doing something above and beyond for another person. All right, now let's do the math. All right? What if you did that 5 days a week, 52 weeks out of the year? What do you have yourself at the end of a year? You have 200, whatever that math is, 260 people in the world who not only know you, not only like you, but are impressed with you. Okay? Now, going back to what you said, some of the training programs tell you to call 30 people a day, which 29 and a half of them are going to be irritated, more than likely, with your call. So instead of having 260 impressed people at the end of the year, if you go with the, I'm going to call 30 people a day and annoy most of them, then you've got hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of irritated people at the end of the year who don't like you. So I think the impress one person a day is a lot easier and a whole lot more fun. So that's...
Yeah, and the thing I like about that is that, like you said in the beginning, it's very simple.
Yeah.
And it sounds doable. I mean, I can make a connection with one person a day. I can impress one person a day, and it's totally doable. And the
take you 15 minutes.
Yeah, and then you get the snowball effect if you do that every day, 5 days a week, and then every year. Because, I mean, before you know it, you're going to be a realtor 5 years, 10 years, and this is going to build. So I like that.
Well, think about if someone impresses you. I mean, let's use the airport example. If I were going on vacation and one of my friends offered to take me to the airport, I mean, whoa, do you know how long that's going to stick with me? I'm going to think that person is awesome for years because they took me to the airport at 5:31 cold. I mean, when I lived in Denver, I remember a friend of mine out of nowhere offered to take me to the airport at 5:30 in the morning, and I still remember that. That was probably 10 years ago. So, yeah, impressing. Very cool. So those are just some ways to, help all of these people who now know you to like you and to kind of get in that mindset. Now, you know what? I forgot to say something earlier, and this is really important. And that is traditional real estate training encourages real estate agents to do the first, the know, right? Let me get out there and find a lot of people to know. I'm going to call people. I'm going to hit the streets. I'm going to go to networking events. I'm going to do everything I can to find more people to know me. And then they don't think about the like and the trust. They go straight to the, now I'm going to market to them. Okay? So now I have 250 people or 200 people who know me. I'm going to start marketing to them. You know what the problem is there? They don't care. Okay? They don't like you or trust you at this point, so they don't care at all about you as a real estate agent. Okay? So this is where the like and the trust really can make, well, they will make the difference. So, and I think this is where a lot of real estate agents prospecting activities have really crashed and burned on them, is because they've hit that no hard. Then they skip straight to the, I'm going to market to you now. Okay? All right, so where are we? Trust. All right, so here we are in the trust factor, and this is by far the most important element of the three in determining whether or not the people who know you and like you are going to think of you as a real estate agent that they would hire or refer. Now, there may be people out there thinking, wait a minute, wait. If somebody knows me and they like me, they trust me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not so fast. Okay. Think about some of your friends. You probably have friends who you like a lot, but do you trust them professionally? Would you send business to them? Okay. I don't know about you. I have friends that I like a lot, but I would probably not be comfortable sending people to them to do whatever it is they do. Okay. This is where the trust factor comes in. And again, we're talking about professional trust, not personal trust. So now in the group of people that you know, let's say there's 200 of them, there are kind of two groups. There's the group of people who have used you as a real estate agent or know someone who has, and then those who haven't. So of the people who are familiar with you as a real estate agent, that's pretty easy to inspire them to trust you, to earn their trust. As long as you take great care of them during your real estate transaction together or take great care of their friend, that's really all it takes to earn your professional trust, because you've proven to them that you are a competent, trustworthy real estate professional. Okay? But what about all those other people who haven't yet had the pleasure of your real estate services, your exceptional, hopefully, real estate services? How can you prove to them that you are a trustworthy real estate professional? Well, good news or bad news, I don't know which, but the good news, I guess, is that people in general don't think that what we do is all that hard. They don't think that being a real estate agent is all that hard. So if you come across to people as what I call an RCHB, which is a reasonably competent human being, they will almost certainly assume that you are capable of handling their real estate transactions as well. Okay, but that's a big deal. It's bigger than it sounds, being an RCHB. So in our professional lives, I think it's pretty obvious that, hey, we should show up on time for our appointments, right? We should, if we borrow something, we should return it. We shouldn't curse like a drunken college student when we're out with our clients. Okay, we should, when we write letters, we write contracts, we write emails, that our writing should be clean. We should use proper grammar. We should use proper punctuation. We should, spell things right. Okay. If we say we're going to do something, we should do it. Okay. And then we should also, again, with our clients, strive to be emotionally mature. Okay. We don't want to just complain and whine and moan and groan with our clients if we expect them to think we're professionals, right? No arguments there. Here's the thing. All of this applies in your personal life too. When you are self-employed, one thing that we have to accept is that we're on display. And people will judge you by your behavior. Now, again, they may, if you don't do all of these things that I just talked about, be on time, okay? Don't curse like a drunken college kid. Do what you say you're going to do. Have decent writing skills when you're communicating. Those things may not be a big deal when someone is choosing a friend. It'll be a very big deal when they're choosing a professional to hire or refer business to. So, for example, punctuality. A lot of people have trouble with punctuality, okay? And they think, well, my friends don't care. My friends are fine with that. They think it's funny that I'm always half an hour late. And they may forgive you for it socially. But do you think they might wonder if they referred somebody to you, if you would always be late and make them look bad? Okay? If when you're out with your friends, you're throwing 4-letter words around like crazy, or on Facebook, okay? That's a biggie. Your friends may think that's hilarious, but would they be willing to send you business if they worry that you might talk that way around clients? Now, they may know better, but they're going to wonder. I promise you, it's affected my referral patterns before. A biggie for real estate agents is doing what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it in your personal life. This was a big problem for me because I was very busy during my real estate career. If I told a client I was going to be there, I was there. But I can't tell you how many social engagements I didn't show up for. I canceled. I was late because I was just so important as a real estate agent and so busy, and my business came first, which it did. But do you think that my friends appreciated that? No. And I know that it hurt me. I know that it cost me business. So one thing that I strongly advise busy real estate agents to do is under-promise and over-deliver. So if you're not sure if you can live up to an obligation, don't make it. Okay? Then if you do show up, wow, that's really cool. Okay? But if you don't show up, you're toast in the credibility department. I do a lot of animal rescue. And there, in the 3 years I've been doing it, there have been 2 real estate agents who have tried to participate with the rescue group. I'll tell you, they were the flakiest people we've ever had. God bless them. They were nice people. I liked them, but they would stand us up constantly for business. And so I get that they were busy, but they left me hanging, and I didn't appreciate that. So would I hire them as real estate agents? No. And here they were out volunteering with an animal rescue group, probably in hopes of finding more people to know them and like them. And what they did was basically trash their credibility instead of enhance it, because they did not fulfill their obligations. They didn't do what they said they were going to do. One thing I can promise you is that you're going to make a far better impression on people making no impression than a bad impression. So if you don't know if you can do it, don't say you're going to do it. So, and actually, that's it. That's my very simple approach to real estate success, basically. Just ensuring that as many people as possible know you, like you, and trust you so that they care about and will support your real estate business. And the title of my book, it really is that simple, truly. It really is. So.
Yeah, I think that's really good. And the one thing I was thinking is when you were a realtor and full time, you had a blog, and you were putting yourself out there through your blog and through your writing, and everything that you talk about right now definitely applies to sphere marketing. A lot of face to face, but this could be a whole other discussion. But everything that you talk about applies to the internet. When you blog, when you do videos, all the content marketing that you do, it's the same philosophy.
Right, right. I mean, be authentic. Be you. And even I think that some of this is even more relative online, especially when you talk about being an RCHB on Facebook. Oh my goodness, I could do a whole hour-long, 2-hour-long show on how things to do and not do on Facebook as a real estate agent to either enhance or blow your credibility. So, but definitely.
Yeah, well, that's good. Well, this is awesome, Jennifer. I'm really glad that you're here. So I do have a bonus question I've been asking all the guests. So yeah, here it is in the summit. It's middle of January 2016. I want you to look back last year, 2015, and just share with us an accomplishment, a goal, something that you achieved that you're excited about, you felt good about. It could be personal, it could be business, but I think it's important for us to always look back and be proud of what we did.
Okay, thanks for springing that one on me live. And this is my very first webcam interview I've ever done, so I appreciate that. Thank you. I guess I'm going to have to say something personal, and because that's what came to mind first. And I've mentioned a few times that I'm involved in animal rescue, and it really is a huge part of my life. And interestingly, what I do in animal rescue is very similar to what I did in real estate. It's a different product, and it's a different paycheck, a different payday, but it's very similar to what a real estate agent does. So maybe this is relevant, but I don't know. But anyway, the shelter that I volunteer with is a rural shelter in the South. Down here, they can barely spay. They just have never heard of spaying and neutering. That's not true, but it's a totally different culture from what it was in Denver. And the shelter that I volunteer with, because of what I've done and the group of crazy women, that mostly women, that this community that we've created, we've taken a county shelter from 70% euthanasia rate down to 13%. And those are hard numbers, but those are lives. I mean, those are honest to goodness lives that we've saved. And that, I mean, I'm proud of that every day. I call us the miracle makers of the Florida Panhandle, and that's what we do. So.
Well, that's great. Well, thanks for sharing that. And I'm sorry to spring it on you, but I did it to everybody.
That's all right. It keeps me thinking.
Yeah. So, well, I always love talking with you, and I love your ideas. And keep doing what you're doing, because we need more voices like you out there helping the realtor community. So, I have a lot of respect for everything that you do.
Well, ditto back to you. Thank you very much. I appreciate this opportunity. So we'll see you soon.